Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Today we take a look at violent Scottish prison inmate James O'Rourke. Stay tuned to hear why he has recently been named one of the world's 10 most dangerous prison inmates. James O'Rourke, known by his nickname of Porky, is unlikely ever to be released after he admitted murdering a fellow prison inmate in a brutal execution in January of 2021. The notorious Scottish double killer has been named as one of the 10 most dangerous prison inmates in the world. During 31 years behind bars, he has appeared at the High Court a further 6 times for prison attacks, accumulating an extra 35 years of jail time and a second life sentence. O'Rourke, who is now 53, features in a new 10-part documentary series which takes a look at his violent life and that of the other 9 most dangerous prison inmates in the world. The series also features spree killer Mark Hobson, who murdered 4 people in Yorkshire in 2004, tattooed Californian psycho Jamie Osuna, said to be the most dangerous inmate in America, and West Virginia Satanist Krista Gale Pike, who was put on death row for murder when she was only 18 years old. The episode on O'Rourke tells how both inmates and prison officers have lived in fear of him during his lengthy stint behind bars, and of how he used violence in the past to cement his position at the top of the prison hierarchy. There are also claims he has given special treatment, including a special menu delivered to his cell because of his violent reputation and potential threat to others around him. O'Rourke has been behind bars at prisons across Scotland since 1992, when he was convicted of murdering Neil Kearney in Airdrie, for which he was given a life sentence. During this senseless and violent attack, Porky was seen dropping a slab of concrete on Neil Kearney's head. Kearney died from a prolonged attack that saw him beaten with wood, bricks, masonry, and the previously mentioned paving slab. In 1997, Porky was sentenced to a further 6 years after prison officer William Irvin and a nurse were held hostage at Glenacle Jail near Alloa for a total of 19 hours. O'Rourke was given another 8 years in 2002 for assault and abduction, then 4 years for a further attack in 2004. He was next sentenced to an additional 8 years in 2005 for stabbing a prison escort and a senior jail official at HMP Kilmarnock. Another major act of violence came in 2019 when Porky targeted Thomas Peacock while they were both exercising. O'Rourke pulled out a blade and slashed Peacock's throat. Peacock, who had been jailed for the barbaric murder of Douglas Lammy, somehow survived the attack. He is known as the pizza box murderer because he and an accomplice put a pizza box over Douglas Lammy's face during the attack so that they would avoid getting blood on their clothes. Prison CCTV captured O'Rourke's attack on Peacock. Prosecutor Liam Ewing QC said the two had been exercising when O'Rourke grabbed Peacock after approaching him from behind and then slit his throat. He added that O'Rourke was heard to state, "That's what you get." The court was also told O'Rourke ran off while Peacock went downstairs clutching his neck. O'Rourke was stopped by guards and admitted having a broken comb, but handed over what was described as a piece of pointed metal. When O'Rourke heard that his victim had pulled through, he said, "That's a shame." As we see time and again, the victim will claim not to have seen who carried out the attack, and this time it was not different, when Peacock claimed to have no idea who attacked him or why he was targeted. O'Rourke had 9 extra years added onto his sentence for the attack on Thomas Peacock. The judge stated the sentence would have been 12 years, but when faced with the CCTV evidence, Porky pleaded guilty, leading to a reduced sentence. Porky received his second life sentence in July of 2022 at the High Court in Glasgow, after he admitted murdering fellow prisoner Dean Ramsey at Glenachill in January of 2021. Trial Judge Lord Arthurson told him, "You come before this court with by far the worst criminal record I have encountered to date as a judge." After choking Ramsey, who died later in hospital, O'Rourke was then seen shaking hands with other prisoners and later heard admitting the murder to his mum in a phone call. O'Rourke was described as calm after the murder and admitted he had used a line to kill Ramsey, referring to a torn bedsheet used to strangle him. Prison officers had found a bleeding Ramsey lying in his cell with his wrists bound and a ligature made from bedsheets around his neck. O'Rourke, who admitted killing Ramsey, is reported to have said, "Just because I'm old, he thinks I'm a dafty. Well, it cost him his life." Attempts were made to help Ramsey at the jail before he was rushed to hospital. He never recovered and died 2 days later, having suffered an unsurvivable brain injury. A source said, "The boy Dean was in a really bad way. There was a dispute between the two of them, which led to Dean being attacked in his cell." A prison source said at the time of the attack, "It doesn't take much for Porky to flip." Taking part in the documentary are people who have come into contact with O'Rourke over the years, including prison officer and hostage victim William Irvin, former police chief and MSP Graham Pearson, and ex-prisoner Anthony Guilty. Irvin, a former professional footballer, said of his 1997 ordeal, "I knew it was dangerous. I knew who was involved. I feel lucky that I escaped unscathed." Graham Pearson, former Labour MSP and head of the Scottish Crime and Drug Enforcement Agency, first came across O'Rourke when he was Chief Inspector in Airdrie in the early 90s. He said, "O'Rourke has completely thrown away his life while in prison and has gone from someone who didn't have a lot of opportunities to someone who gave himself no opportunities. O'Rourke could have gotten out years ago if he had changed his attitude and behaviour and had been forgotten about. Instead, he has become a prison personality." One inmate who is not identified added, "If you fight with him, you are going to lose. He is going to put you 6 feet under." Being featured in the world's most dangerous prisoners documentary is a dubious honour. Many of the people featured on this channel gain notoriety for their criminal acts while out in public, but Porky is different. The majority of his evil acts have been carried out while he has been incarcerated. Apart from the murder of Neil Kearney, which led to his initial prison stretch, his reign of ultra-violence has been focused on those around him inside the prison system. Many reports indicate that Porky's long sentences may have contributed to his prison violence. Most of his acts of violence in prison show that he has a complete disregard for the lives of others. One source commented, "He knows he is probably never getting out, so feels he has nothing to lose, which makes him even more dangerous." Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. If you like this story, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends.